Okay, folks, time for a quick and dirty unboxing video courtesy of mycomicshop.com. Thank you all for your diligent service in providing me with all the comics I need. And I have already, of course, done the heavy lifting on unraveling most of the packaging. Only two items in the box this time. The first of which being E-Ratic Recharged by Carrie Andrews and Brian. Okay, somebody under there. I can't read past the label. But this is the sequel to the original E-Ratic. It's about a kid who only has powers for about 15 minutes out of the day. It's set in the Resistance universe, which the Resistance being a few series created by J. Michael Straczynski. And I did look into those books, but I really didn't find them particularly interesting. It's one of those more woven and more cinematic and more kind of Babylon 5-ish kind of things, where it looked like he had this grand plan that he eventually unraveled, but I just really didn't get into the whole thing. But this particular subset of it, though, I did enjoy and thought it was worth picking up. I remember being slightly dissatisfied with how the original series ended, because it all just kind of seemed to come to a very pat ending, and so I wanted to at least give one more volume a chance and try to see if this was worth continuing on with. So we shall soon see. The other item in the box was the epic collection of Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, if you've ever read the original Guardians of the Galaxy, you will know that this is absolutely nothing like the movies. This is hardcore early Marvel stuff, in which each of these heroes in the Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy set represent a human being in the 30th century who has been genetically manipulated to fit the planet on which he or she was born. For example, you've got Nikki, who I'm not sure appears on this cover, but she is from Mercury, and therefore, her hair's on fire, and she's got an extraordinarily high body temperature. And then you've got, I believe he's Charlie 27, and he's from Jupiter, so he's got an enormously strong muscle mass to handle the gravity from there. And there's a human being, Vance Astro, who's actually been taken from the 20th century, or was in suspended animation, and is sealed up in this suit and can't get out of it. A few other things, of course, we have Yondu, who you will probably remember from the movies, but who is nothing like the movie character. He's more like a Native American tribesman who is a friend to the team. Various other kinds of Guardians involved and brought together by Starhawk to fight a invasion of the Badoon. And so Star-Lord will make no appearance in this book. Peter Quill's Star-Lord is a character that was created independently of this entire idea. Same thing with Rocket Raccoon. In other words, if you're looking for, what actually spawned the movie ideas, you're not going to really want this book. You're going to want some of the more recent Marvel stuff that put together those particular sets of characters into the Guardians of the Galaxy. Characters like Gamora and Drax the Destroyer and Rocket Raccoon and Star-Lord and Groot and all of those. None of those are going to be in here. So, that is what I went and picked up, but is that going to be the next thing I'm going to be reading? No, actually not. I plan on reading through this bad boy here, which is another epic collection, this one collecting the early tales of Namor the Submariner, or, if you've watched Wakanda Forever, he's called Namor in there, because his name in that movie, is an abbreviation of the child without love, so something sin amor. Namor. And actually, his name is actually Namor Mackenzie, and he's the byproduct of a human and an Atlantean, and he's the Prince of Atlantis, and you can read about his actual exploits, which are also pretty much only slightly like the MCU character. Really, you're not going to get a lot of conjunction in the comic books with what you saw in the movies, but in any case, here are his first adventures, along with his blue-skinned retainer Dorma, who I believe is, I forget what happened to her, but I shouldn't spoil anything anyway. Mostly this collects a bunch of Namor the Submariner appearances from the earliest Marvel titles. Fantastic Four number 4 is where he was brought into the current Marvel universe. He's actually one of Marvel's oldest characters. If you go back all the way to Marvel Tales number 1, which came out in the 40s, I believe, that one had the Human Torch, being an android that burst into flames, fighting Prince Namor. And so, along with Captain America, whom Stan Lee and Jack Kirby would bring back in Avengers number 4, earlier than that, in Fantastic Four number 4, they brought back Namor the Submariner. And so this collects his earliest adventures, ranging from the early issues of Fantastic Four in which he appeared, to also some Avengers issues. You might recall that in Avengers number 4, it was Namor who found the ice-frozen Captain America and accidentally thawed him out. We've also got a couple of, there's an X-Men issue, a Daredevil issue. One of the things I love about these epic collections is that they will collect the earliest appearances no matter where these characters were at the time. For the most part, I mean, you're not going to see like whole series collected if that character appeared in that series. For example, I was reading the Moon Knight epic collections for a while, and it turned out that between Epic Collection 3 and 4 of Moon Knight actually did a jag in West Coast Avengers for a while. And some significant things happened to Moon Knight over there that made it kind of jarring between series of Moon Knight in Epic Collection number 4. So I really had a hard time understanding some of what was going on in Epic Collection number 4 because it had been so long since I'd read the West Coast Avengers issues that featured Moon Knight. Likewise, Black Widow. If you go and read her epic collections, her first volume is much like this one is. It's a collection of her first appearances in Iron Man and then in the Avengers, when she actually became, I think, one of the Avengers for a while. And then she branches off into her own, like, 8-issue series in Amazing Adventures. And then what happens to her after that? She actually joins the Champions. And so her next appearances... Oh, and she also has a long-standing run alongside Daredevil. So Daredevil and the Black Widow actually become a pair for a long period of time. And so her epic collection does not collect any of that. Her epic collection jumps straight to her own solo adventures after that. And so I didn't really care for the solo stuff that came later, so I just basically blew off that volume. But I do recommend the first epic collection involving Black Widow, and hopefully this will be pretty good. I seem to remember way back in the day there was a series, and I don't remember the name of the series, but it was one of those double features like they used to do back when it was Tales to Astonish, Tales of Suspense, etc., etc. And there was a comic that featured Namor for half of the book, and then the Inhumans for the other half of the book. And I think some of those stories are actually collected in here. So I'll be interested to see if I remember any of the material that comes from the Tales to Astonish issues in here. But I do remember some Inhuman stuff, and I'm still waiting for an Inhumans epic collection. Come on, Marvel. I mean, it's good that you're finally doing Doctor Strange epic collection number 2. I was waiting on that for a long time, except I finally decided to just break down and get the Doctor Strange omnibuses anyway, because those were beautiful volumes, and they also contained some of the original Defenders adventures in there. So anyway, that is what I'm going to be reading next. I want to see if this is worth continuing into Epic Collection number 2 of the series, which unfortunately Marvel is pulling a Doctor Strange on that also. When Marvel started releasing the Doctor Strange volumes, they did Volume 1 and then skipped to Volume 3. They're doing the same thing with this. They're skipping to Volume 3 without covering Volume 2 first. I never buy the things out of order, so you're just going to have to come out with Volume 2 before I'm going to plunk down for Volume 3 of this. But we'll see if it's even worth getting into all that. I know the Black Widow's exploits were interesting to follow through the various issues. We'll have to see if the same holds true for the Submariner. I do have all the early Fantastic Four Epic Collection volumes, so I've actually read most of the stories that are going to be in this volume, with the exception of Strange Tales 107 and 125, X-Men number 6, and the Tales to Astonish issues. So there's not much in here that I haven't already read, either in the Fantastic Four Epic Collections or other Epic Collections that I've gotten. I've actually got the X-Men Epic Collections all the way from number 1 through number 6 or 7. I think I got up through 7, and then I picked up one individual issue past number 7 because I didn't want to get 8. 8 was like a whole different ball game, and but you need that one issue past Epic Collection number 7 in order to really get some closure and denouement to Cyclops' story after the whole Dark Phoenix saga. So that's a little excursion into what I have bought recently and what I will be reading in the near future, and also a little bit of an excursion on Epic Collections altogether. So thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. If you like this video, feel free to share it to Twitter, where I can't. Otherwise, join me on Gab, where I've got an account over there, and we can hook up and chat. And other than that, have a good one.